Hey there, thinkers! Welcome back to Critical Hit. My name is Est, and so Assassin's Creed Shadows made headlines yesterday, and the buzz centers around its executive producer. These individuals are so eager to promote their commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion as a core strength to their work. However, there is an ironic twist to this narrative, so let's get into this, shall we? Now, despite their bold claims, these folks seem to have the emotional resilience of a wet tissue. Just look at the over-the-top reaction to Elon Musk's comments about the game. Like, Musk's remarks sent the production team into such a tizzy that you have to wonder if they can even handle the slightest bit of criticism. It also makes you question whether all this DEI talk is actually helping or just turning the creative process into a minefield of hypersensitivity in the gaming industry. Now, we've got this post from Grummz that says Elon Musk breaks Ubisoft executive producer of Assassin's Creed Shadows, revealing that this grown-ass adult needed to use an app on his phone to calm down and explore his feelings. Yes, you heard that right. An executive producer on a major AAA game, Assassin's Creed Shadows, apparently needed a mindfulness app to deal with the big, bad negativity surrounding the game. Like, how much of a weeb do you have to be for this to even be a thing? Seriously, I can't even fathom living life with such delicate sensibilities, but here we are. Honestly, this just makes you wonder about the backbone, or the lack thereof, of those holding high-powered positions in the gaming industry. If a few critical comments from Musk can send somebody in such a tizzy, what's that to say about their ability to handle the real pressures of the game development? It's laughable and a little tragic that the minds behind our entertainment are so easily rattled. So imagine this. You're creating a product meant for the global stage, and the feedback starts rolling in. Now, it's mostly negative. Instead of toughening up and facing the music, you decide to pull a disappearing act from X. It's like you're sticking your head into the sand, pretending the criticisms aren't valid, all to shield yourself from admitting that your game might just be trash. I mean, come on. When your response to criticism is to retreat and to do breathing exercises, it doesn't look good. It reeks of insecurity and the inability to handle the heat that comes with putting something out into the world. Instead of standing tall and addressing the issue head on, you chose to dodge and weave, hoping it all blows over. But here's the thing. Hiding doesn't make your problems go away. I know, crazy, right? It just shows that you're more concerned with preserving your fragile ego than actually improving your product. If you can't handle the spotlight, maybe game development isn't the right gig for you. Instead of facing reality, you decide to hide from the world stage and do some breathing exercises. Pathetic. Yeah, this is why we don't have rockstar game devs anymore. Making a great game takes guts. It's hard, really hard, especially when you're trying to create something new or driven by passion. That's why you don't see it in a lot of AAA games anymore. It's all about plugging in dollars, hiring 9-to-5 devs, rotating, cranking out, and spitting out sequels. This isn't just happening in gaming. It's a trend across many franchises and business ventures. The focus has shifted from passion and innovation to a cookie-cutter approach driven by profit. In today's world, finding someone who actually gives a damn about their work is like stumbling upon a unicorn. Most folks are just chasing the money, playing it safe, and watering down their creativity. But hey, those rare passionate souls, you can spot them from a mile away, and their success speaks for itself. But hold up. Because here comes the punchline. Picture this. The big shot executive producer of Assassin's Creed Shadows completely loses their marbles over a tweet from Elon Musk. Like, seriously? Musk questions the game's approach to diversity, and suddenly it's a meltdown city. Like, talk about fragile ego syndrome. And then we've got PC gamers chiming in with the headline, Assassin's Creed Shadows executive producer accuses Elon Musk of spreading hate over the game's black protagonist. Like, Musk argues that historical accuracy is taking a backseat to an agenda that stifles creativity. Can you believe the nerve? So instead of embracing debate or defending their artistic choices, these guys would rather play the victim card and shut down any dissenting opinion. It's like they're more interested in pushing their own narrative than producing quality art. So much for passion driving the industry. Now it's all about pushing buttons and avoiding anything that might bruise their delicate sensibilities. Classic. Alright, let's break this down. Is Elon wrong about DEI? Hell No. Whether he's swimming in cash or even barely scraping by, he's got a handle on reality. Meanwhile, you lot want to pretend you're like some sort of stealth bombers of diversity, sneaking around like no one can see your forced, fake facade. Newsflash, we all see through it, and your approach is as bad as genuine as a dollar store Rolex. And let's not forget to shout out to Crazy Pants Alyssa Mercante and her epic meltdown. You're out here trying to sell this mess like it's some sort of second coming of inclusivity, when it's just lazy, superficial checkbox nonsense. Then you have the audacity to throw a fit when people call out your hollow attempts. So here's a tip. You can't fool everyone with smoke and mirrors. In your ideas of representation, it's the kind of half-hearted effort that screams, we're trying, but not really. So cut the act. When criticism hits, you react like a kid who's lost their favorite toy. If you want to play the whole DEI big leagues, try bringing something real to the table instead of this cringe-worthy PR dance. And let's get real here. Deleting your response in a fit of emotion and then quietly reinstalling X, it doesn't really scream resilience or credibility. It reeks of fragility and desperation, need for validation. If you're that fragile, maybe reconsider your career path. After all, in a real world, handling criticism with grace and dignity is kind of a basic requirement, not a luxury you can opt out with a mindfulness app. However, here's the kicker. When you claim to have a mindfulness app, I have no clue what a mindfulness app even is, but sure, whatever floats your boat. Apparently you're so delicate that you need to rely on this app to calm down. It's honestly beyond bizarre. Let's rewind back to like May 24th when Elon Musk decided to drop his 2 cents into the mix, responding to a tweet about the game with a statement, DEI kills art. And you know what? He's got a point. DEI really does kill art. It snuffs out anything that could arise organically with a group of people coming together to create something. DEI, which stands for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, is supposed to promote equal treatment and involvement of all people, especially those who are typically underrepresented. But let's face it, Musk's tweet wasn't exactly a nuanced observation. That tweet stirred up emotions in me so strong that my immediate impulse was to reinstall the app I had previously deleted and fire off a response, according to Cody's tweet. For me, Elon, it's just sad. You're just stoking the fires of hatred. He had plenty of 3-word replies ready to go, but instead of directly attacking Musk, he chose to engage in a manner I won't try to persuade people to see our team's perspective, he concluded. It's utterly ludicrous, isn't it? Now, the executive producer is so rattled by criticism, he resorts to mindfulness apps and passive-aggressive social media tactics. It's like they're more concerned with shielding themselves from discomfort than actually engaging with constructive criticism. This kind of hypersensitivity in response to a genuine discourse doesn't bode well for fostering a healthy creative environment in the gaming industry. No matter how you twist it, you're failing to convince anyone with your viewpoints. Even when you tiptoe around confrontation, it's almost laughable. People are not buying into your spiel. And that's the bottom line. You're treating DEI like it's some sort of hot new product, a commodity that can be marketed and sold. If DEI were truly genuine and organic, it wouldn't need a slick sales pitch. And let that sink in. The fact that you're out here hustling and bustling to sell people on the DEI says it all. It reeks of insincerity and desperation. You're pushing an agenda that's supposed to be all about diversity, equity, and inclusion, but all we see are double standards and hypocrisy. Your DEI initiatives often end up veering into outright racism, exposing your true colors. It's crystal clear that your motives aren't about genuine virtue. They're about maintaining a facade of moral superiority. You can't package and market virtue like it's the latest trend. Virtue isn't a transaction. It's a reflection of character. And let's face it, your actions speak louder than your hollow words. Time and again, you've shown that your version of DEI is nothing more than smoke and mirrors, a flimsy attempt to cover up deep-seated bias, and while claiming to champion equality. If you're going to preach about DEI, start by actually embodying it instead of hiding behind your empty gestures and self-serving rhetoric. Now, their idea of DEI is in the Assassin's Creed gameplay video. They had the audacity to slap hip-hop music into feudal Japan because, hey, the main character is black, and apparently according to them, you can't have a black person without the same hippity hop. Now, If you catch my drift, it's the epitome of virtue signaling, claiming that DEI is the righteous mission, the moral high ground. These are the folks who keep churning out the same tired tropes over and over again. Every black character that they create sports what they call the modernity fade. Now, I will call a spade a spade. It's a hairstyle designed for the modern audience by every white leftist trying to check off their DEI boxes in video games. They claim it's all about representation. However, in reality, they're creating a cookie-cutter version of their idealized black person, a fantasy straight out of the narrow view of diversity. Clearly, this is how they see you. They design characters based on their superficial understanding of diversity, perpetuating stereotypes under the guise of progressiveness. It's insulting and lazy. It's exactly why true diversity and creativity are stifled in the mainstream media until they wake up and realize that diversity isn't about appearances, but about genuine, multifaceted representation. We'll keep seeing the same recycled ideas packaged as groundbreaking. Now, when I come across posts like this from people at Ubisoft trying to sell us on DEI, I can't help but roll my eyes. Seriously, I'm not buying it, not even for a second. DEI supposedly promotes diversity, equity, and inclusion, but in reality, it often stifles true creativity and innovation. It's like a broken record playing the same tune over and over again. And let's be real here. DEI policies tend to harmonize ideas rather than foster genuine diversity of thought. Everyone ends up thinking alike, acting alike, and regurgitating the same tired narratives. There's no room for genuine creativity when every decision is dictated by checking off diversity boxes rather than fostering a true, inclusive environment where diverse perspectives can thrive naturally. And now, throwing in a token person of color or another marginalized identity into a team doesn't automatically inject fresh ideas. If that person is still parroting the same ideology as everyone else, true diversity isn't about superficial representation. It's about embracing a variety of perspectives and allowing genuine debate and innovation to flourish. Well, part of my skepticism when DEI advocates tout themselves as champions of creativity, the reality paints a vastly different picture. It's ludicrous, frankly, to believe that a token gesture of surface-level diversity can foster genuine artistic expression and innovation. If we genuinely want to see art thrive, it's time we move past these hollow proclamations and embrace true diversity of thought. I'm gonna be real here. DEI as a whole is a complete, utter farce. It's a smokescreen used by those desperately trying to rebrand themselves as anti-racist, because for them, simply not being racist isn't sufficient. They must constantly perform and signal their virtue, convincing themselves and others of their moral purity. It's a sad spectacle, really. Witnessing these individuals in positions of power within major AAA game companies trying to peddle this nonsense is both infuriating and pitiful. They push this agenda knowing full well it's a facade, a shallow attempt to appease social pressures. Like, we all see through it. We know it's phony, contrived, and ultimately ineffective. And now, as they continue to experience public meltdowns, when their manufactured virtue fails to resonate, it's almost comical, if it weren't so detrimental to genuine progress and creativity in the industry. However, that's everything I have for this video. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And hey, before you go, subscribe to our channel, smash that like button, and ring the bell to be notified for our next video. As always, this is Est, and I'm signing off now. So I'll see you in the next one. Toodles!